This is a video on how to do a travel expense claim form after you have traveled and have your receipts in hand. Go to www.humboldt.edu and go to the letter F. There you scroll down to Forms-HSU Forms, which houses all the forms or most of the forms on campus. Type in travel expense, enter, and then you end up with all the results. Click on travel expense claim, and you end up with the form. Click on the PDF form and start filling it in. I already have one set up as an example. First, you need to just do, if you have one page, do page 1 of 1. Put in your name. I put in my name, your employee ID number, which is your HSU ID number. If you have applied for a faculty diversity grant, you would put in Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Your position number, this you would leave blank. Your residence address, which is your home address, your city, state, zip. Headquarters address would be the address of our office, which is 1 Harp Street. Your office phone number would be here. It would be Arcata, California 95521. The next step is to scroll down. So for this example, I am traveling in the month of April. The month is 0411. It will only accept it in this format, so month and year. After that, you would go down and put in the dates you were out. So I left on the 6th at 1300 hours. Note that the best way is to put it in military time. And I return on the 8th at 7 p.m., which is 1900 hours. I flew out of Arcata Airport to San Francisco Airport at this time on this date. My lodging while in San Francisco was $100. And I stayed there for 2 nights, so $100 for each day. My breakfast was $10, lunch was $15, dinner is $25. The maximum that you can spend on meals is $50 per day. Usually it is $10 for breakfast, $15 for lunch, and $25 for dinner. But if you choose to spend $25 for breakfast, just keep in mind that lunch and dinner combined can not be more than $25. Like I said, as I mentioned, it can't be more than $50 for that whole day. For incidentals, this includes tips. You can have up to $5 of incidentals a day. You cannot have incidentals in the first 24 hours. After that, you can have $5 per day. Notice that for my last day, I only have breakfast and lunch. If you are leaving and you come back at 3 p.m., you cannot claim dinner. So in this case, I came back at 7 p.m., so I can claim dinner, but I chose not to. It all depends. Let's say I didn't have dinner, so that's okay. Cost of transportation is my flight. Even if it is paid out of my department, I still put this in. So my flight round trip to San Francisco from Arcata Airport was $375. Type used is the kind of transportation it was. It was a commercial flight, which is the letter A. If you would like to look at codes for what type of cost of transportation it is, scroll down to the second page. Here it will describe to you what letter you should use for what type of transportation it was. The next step is car fare, tolls, and parking. I took a taxi to my hotel from San Francisco Airport, and that cost me $15. Next is I also used a private vehicle. From my house to the airport, it was 12 miles. I am claiming 12 miles to the airport and 12 miles returning back home. It is 50 cents a mile, and it comes out to $6. When you put in the miles, it automatically does the numbers for you. Next notice for business expense. It is $6, not $6, it is $675. That is the cost of my registration. Even though this was prepaid, this also needs to be claimed on the travel expense claim form. The total expenses for my day on the 6th was $1,221. Notice if you scroll down to the very bottom, it totals it up. For purpose of trip and claim total, I make sure to mention that your flight and registration is paid out of the department if that is the case, and any notes that you'd like to put in. The time I worked was 8 to 5. My vehicle license plate is here, and this is the mileage. Make sure to sign at the very bottom and make sure your supervisor signs this portion.